What's up, guys? Overtime win here in the parking lot as we head back down to Portland from a very frustrating game. I just have to get this video out there. There's just too many thoughts running through my head after watching that shit show yesterday that we all witnessed. So I want to hit on a couple key points today. A keynote about the ref and the Balian situation, and basically a couple other key points about the game. I keep seeing posts about the reason we lost, like the reason we lost, the reason we lost, the reason we lost. And I feel like the reason we lose is actually baked into that annoying question we all get about what if our best athletes played soccer, blah, 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 blah. That shit drives all of us nuts for multiple reasons. It drives me nuts because do you think Harry Kane is the best athlete in England? Not even fucking close, not by a stretch. Do you think half the best players in the world, even when you watch Trossard, like he kept finding himself in space because of naivety and insecurity where Richard, so our seats, we went to the game yesterday, our seats were perfectly in line with our back line most of the game. We're sitting right around the edge of the box. And as I'm watching, I keep seeing Richards pulling Freeman in next to him to cover Richards' guy so Richards can be free to go win the ball, which leaves Trossard and others open out on the wing. It's a confidence thing. It's a communication thing. There was horrible communication between the back line. As someone who's played defense for decades, it drove me nuts to see just the lack of organization and communication and cohesiveness in the back. So that kind of gets me to a couple of the other points. I think when you watch like a Croatia, for example, do you think that Kovacic is a great athlete? I don't. Do you think any of those guys are great athletes? Not particularly. Not even close. But they the sum of their parts when they're together wearing the Croatia crest is greater than the individuals. And I haven't seen for years. So it's funny, I bumped into Sanneh after the game, and he brought up some interesting points. I was obviously maybe a couple beers deep and pretty pissed off, but also just, stoked to see Sanneh. And he brought up that when he was playing, there was no pressure because there were no expectations. Like they weren't expected to do shit, so they could play, with freedom. Versus these kids now who have, Juventus and AC Milan and Chelsea and PSV and all these great clubs on their resume, they're expected to perform at a certain level. And he said it was those expectations that might be hindering things. But I tend to disagree with that. I think they're used to those expectations at their club. I think it's that the question about the best athletes layers in a baked-in assumption that best athletes equals winning, and winning is a different skill that we don't teach. In fact, if you're a youth club coach and you focus too much on winning, so for example, my dad was also a coach and also a player. He would have me man mark guys in youth, and it used to other teams were appalled that we would do something just to win. But he was teaching me and teaching us how to win. And winning and being good at kicking and step overs and athleticism are two completely different things. It reminds me of, like, not to, be a stereotypical American, compare everything to American sports. But in football, there was this thing, it was like, what was it, like run, pass, punt or something like that? And it was like, how far can you throw the ball? How far can you kick the ball? And how fast are you? That feels like how we are assessing soccer, where we're like, if you're faster, if you're stronger, you must be better. And then we go have these extremely naive performances and wonder why we're losing. And it's like, no, like if it was about pure athleticism, Jamaica would win the World Cup every fucking year. Like they'd field a whole team of Usain Bolt and just run people into the ground. But that is not how the game works, as evidenced yesterday. I mean, Lukaku could barely move. He's looking pretty stiff, but yet he can be effective within a system. Anyway, another point Sane made that I thought was really actually on point was he used to have Brad Friedel in his ear telling him where to be when every step of the way. I mean, he was the general back there, I think is how he described it. And Freeze is not that. And he's not going to be that. Like, he's not, he might become that a little bit, but there was really no general in the back. Tim Reams, not mean enough, not direct enough. Richards is a great player, but I just don't see him as the vocal leader. And Freeman is also turning into a great player himself, but once again, not the vocal leader. And then when there isn't even a Tim Howard like barking at you, I don't know if any of you guys have played at a high level, but when it's pretty damn common that your goalie is pretty fucking vocal. Sorry for the cursing. I don't know if that's going to flag something, but they're pretty vocal. They're organizing you back there. They're letting you know who's down your back, who's slipping, you know. When Trossard is in acres of space on the far side, he'd be yelling at Freeman, down your back. You've got one. Like, you know, communicating. And we don't have that. I was right there. We had great seats. And they are not a unit. They are not together. They are not communicating. They are just a bunch of good players who look like they're playing a pickup game. Like, there's no they are better as individuals than they are as a team. And I think that tracks all the way back to the way we coach the youth programs. Like, we are training kids one-on-one with a cone with a trainer to do 45 step overs. And then at the end of the game, when they don't know to go to the corner flag or embellish a foul or, you know, like I think about Harry Kane. I brought him up a couple times now. He won multiple headers on corners on defense. That says it all. Like, he knows that that creates a win. And it's about winning. Like, we're doing this to win. Not score style points like Berhalter wanted to. Not play a certain way. We're here to fucking win. And Harry Kane is back winning corners because he knows that's what leads to wins. We don't do that. We play hard. I don't think those guys didn't play hard. They just don't get it. Like, some of them. I think Berhalter, actually, I'm a very critical of his dad as a coach, but Sebastian as a player plays like a coach's kid. He reads the game. The tactical foul count. I think if you threw it in ChatGPT and it could summarize the tactical numbers of tactical fouls, we don't tactically foul because we don't grasp it. We don't feel the momentum slipping away. We don't sense the counterattack building. I saw Richards commit a nice tactical foul in the first game. I saw Berhalter wrap a guy up because he got like, yeah, if he's through, he's through. We're in trouble. But not enough of that. Not enough grasping the larger picture of the game. Very much just a bunch of individuals isolated in their step over, their stat line, getting them to the next level. And then the last two things I just really wanted to hit on were, I went to both the Australia game and both the Seattle games, the Australia game and the Belgium game. And it was brutally obvious that there was space in behind these teams. They were trying to compress the field on us, and they were letting our guys pick their head up and have space on the ball. And it took us forever to realize that Balogun is going to win a foot race against a lot of these guys. We should be buying tickets to that raffle every time they let us look at it. And then they will either back off in the back because they're tired of getting beat over the top,